So today I actually just took a couple phone calls. I really don't do a lot of credit repair anymore. I do software. I created a credit repair software, but I still take calls. I still do some credit repair and I still do CRA cases for people. So today I had a couple different calls. One, I had a real estate agent that sent me over a client and she said, "Oh, hey, this person needs credit repair because I still do get a lot of referrals." And she said, "Well, they had a family member that went in and opened a bunch of credit cards and they all charged off and they didn't know they did this. And then they had somebody fix it, but that everything came back on. And so I sent them to you so you can do whatever you do, right?" So I looked at it and that is an easy FCRA violation, you guys. That's one because this is a real identity theft. So this was X of some sort. I can't remember exactly. I have to go back and look at the email, but it was true identity theft. They really didn't know this person was doing it. They didn't get permission for this. It was real identity theft. That is a definite case. And when you go in and just dispute these things for your clients, if you don't handle it the right way with the attorneys and different things, then a lot of times these things end up coming back on. So you have to make sure that you do actually file an FTC fraud affidavit. They actually have a police report already. So we're just going to do the FTC affidavit. We're going to send in the disputes. And 9 times out of 10 for any of these cases that I do, and I don't do a ton, maybe 9 or 10 real true identity theft cases in a year. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to come back from the bureaus, you guys, and it is not going to get fixed. It might get fixed on 1 or 2 bureaus and maybe one doesn't fix it. And if that is the case, we're not sending another dispute. We're sending it directly over to the consumer law attorney. They're going to get it all removed. We're going to ensure they're going to sue them, right? They're going to sue the credit bureaus and we're going to ensure that they actually don't come back. We're going to make sure they do their job. They don't come back. There was a second one call that I got today, and this is me not even looking for cases, you guys. It's just cases just popping up for me everywhere. Every time I get a call, I can almost always find a case. So, second case today was super interesting to me. So, the guy just called me, Google called me up and said, "Hey, I just need some credit help. I have bankruptcy from 5 years ago, and I guess he has some new collections that were coming on." And he was just giving me his little spiel. I just asked him, "Hey, what's going on with the credit?" So I'm like, "Oh, what's going on with your credit?" And he just told me all of his big story. And as he was talking, and I'm listening, because that's the really important piece when you're doing FCRA, you got to really listen because you got to hear what they're saying. So this guy told me, he goes, so he was telling me about his mortgage thing and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there. And then he goes, "I had a bankruptcy 5 years ago, and I discharged Navy Federal, right? $13,000 Navy Federal credit card. And that was discharged in the bankruptcy, Chapter 7, 5 years ago. A year ago, they hit his bank account for 13K. They can't do that. They cannot go hit your bank account for that 13K when it's been discharged in the bankruptcy." So I asked him, I said, "Well, what did you do?" He goes, "Well, I talked to my bankruptcy attorney and they said there was nothing I could really do, right?" And the key thing here is he talked to his bankruptcy attorney, right? The bankruptcy attorneys, they don't know what to do, right? They're bankruptcy attorneys. They discharge bankruptcies. They don't do rebuilding after credit. They don't do FCRA violations. They don't even understand any of that. Just because you're an attorney doesn't mean you actually know every parts of the law, right? So this guy, so I'm sending him obviously over to my consumer law attorney that specializes in bankruptcy so they can sue him and get his money back. Now, I'm going to do my due diligence. This is where I want you guys to really listen up because I don't just take everything somebody says because we have to prove damages. Now, he really has some damages. It created a lot of damage in his life, really some big issues when this occurred. But we have to build that case for the attorneys and make sure we're sending good cases over to the attorneys. This is where I think a lot of CROs fail in the first few times they try FCRA because they don't send solid cases over or an actual case with damages that can actually be litigated. And so that's what I want to try to teach you tonight. So what I'm going to do here, so he's signing up for credit monitoring. That's the first thing I had him do, right? He's signing up for my credit repair program. I'm going to look at his credit monitor. I'm going to look at his report. He's going to send me his bankruptcy paperwork. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to make sure that that account was also discharged in the bankruptcy. I'm going to double check that before I send it to my attorney. And then I'm also going to have him send me any evidence of when they took that money, the bank statements, when they pulled that money, anything that he has, because I'm going to compile that entire case file. Now, the credit repair software that I have created called Credit Butterfly, that's what it does, right? It identifies FCRA violations inside of the software, but it can't identify something like this, right? So this is where you have to be able to talk to people and find out what's actually happening and understand what is a real violation. So sometimes people, I think, because you can have a violation, but it's not really an actionable violation, if that makes sense. It doesn't have damages that are worthy to be sued for, I guess is the way to put it. So say you have inaccurate data on a credit report, right? Say the balance is off by $1. Maybe the date is off, but what kind of damages did it really create, right? That's where you got to be thinking through it. What kind of damage did that create for the borrower? Is there any real reason we can sue them for something like that? That's why when people think, oh, this is an FCRA violation, and it really truly is, it's inaccurate, right? It's not accurate data, but it's not an actionable case for an attorney. So we're going to go over those actionable cases, but I wanted to give you those two cases that I just came across today. Those will be two great cases, but my software obviously not going to find that. Like I'm going to have to figure that out as I speak to them. So another thing that's really easy when you're talking to your client and you can find cases right away. Another case that's super easy and good, and we're going to go over this in a few minutes too, is when you're talking to them, ask them, just go over their active charge-offs and collections, ones that have balances. If it has a balance, then just tell them, hey, you have a charge off or a collection with a $442 balance, and just verify with them that's correct. And then sometimes they'll say, and this happens to me all the time, oh no, I paid that off 6 months ago and I have the letter or I have proof. Great. That is an FCRA violation. So let's go through just quickly some dispute tips for FCRA. When you're, I'm gonna move this out of the way here where I can see it. Is that blocking anything for you guys when I moved it over there? Anybody?
No, we don't see that.
All right. So do you guys see dispute letter tips right now? No?
Just hidden income for your client's files.
I wonder
Your
why
front page presentation. You gotta press the next page.
I did. It's not progressing for some reason.
Stop sharing, then try to reshare again.
Let me try that. I don't know why it's not.
It does that sometimes.
See if I have the wrong. Let's try this one. There we go. Can everybody see that now?
Yes.
Perfect. So we're going to go over some dispute tips, but what we call the software for Credit Butterfly, we call it legal credit intelligence because it's really not the same as other softwares in the industry right now. It's not just a letter generator. It does a whole lot of other things and it has a lot of legal things that are built into it. So for dispute letter tips, if you're not using our software, which ours creates the disputes for you, you do not have to do it. It is click, it is a button, it does it all for you. But if you're creating your own dispute letters, you really have to be careful on the verbiage that you use. And let me just make sure I'm admitting people. You really want to be careful on the verbiage that you're using. You don't ever want to say you're suing them, right? When you send a letter that you're going to be sending to an attorney afterwards. So you don't ever want to use things like you're violating my rights, I'm angry, it's an outrage. You want to use very simplistic language. Like I have found some errors in my credit report. This is what it is. And when we go through these slides today, I'm going to show you some actual dispute language to use. But that's all your letter should say. It should not have a whole bunch of laws you're quoting. The attorneys will not be able to use that when you send your case over. They're going to have to redispute that. So if you've already disputed it, they didn't fix it, now they're going to redispute it again. So then they might fix it and then your violation may be gone, right? If it ends up getting fixed. So you want to dispute it very properly the first time so that you send very good cases over to the attorneys when you send them over. Always send any proof. We all know, right? We have been in this industry. We know that the credit bureaus, they just ignore most of your letters. It doesn't matter. You can send them all the proof in the world. You can send them all the ID docs in the world, and they're still going to send you those letters saying they never got anything or any of that, or it's just some kind of fake thing. And it's frivolous and stall letters and whatever they do. So a lot of times they're just going to ignore it. They scan it in, and that's about it. They don't do anything with it. So nothing strange in the letter. Always put in all the information that's necessary in there. Full name, social, date of birth, address, everything, all the documentation for each one. And we'll go through the documentation for each one of the different types. So these are going to be, I think it's like the top 11 FCRA violations that are the most common that you will find in the credit reports. Okay. Number 1 is credit report shows a balance due on a settled or paid account. You guys all have them. I promise you all have this violation in your client files right now. The attorneys, they pay you money for every one of these violations. You're going to get $400 to $500 for every single violation that you submit to an attorney. So you have thousands of dollars, especially if you have more than 100 active clients sitting in your client files right now. You have thousands of dollars just sitting there in violation money that you're not collecting. And so I want to change that. I want you guys to go out there and get this money because you deserve it. And your clients, they get a $1,000 payout too. They deserve it because it's violating their rights. So always send the correct documentation with a settled or paid account. Okay. So which means if they have a settled in full letter, paid in full letter, anything showing payment, anything that you have, any kind of evidence, you're going to send that. This is the right type of dispute that you're going to use. And it's the same type of dispute as we go through all of these 11 different FCRA violations. This is what your reasoning will be. My credit report is showing a debt owed to whoever the furnisher or collection agency is in the amount of blank from the credit report. This account was settled in full with the law firm or paid in full, whatever it is, and there's no balance due and owing. I am requesting this inaccurate information be updated to reflect the settlement. If there's any confusion, I suggest you contact myself or a representative from whoever, LVNV Funding or Chase Bank or whoever it might be, or if it's a law firm, cite the law firm to verify the settlement. So there's a lot going on in this dispute, but that's what the attorneys want, right? You're letting them know, here's what the actual issue is. This is what I want you to do. And if you are confused, then you're going to go ask them. You're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is investigate it, right? And so really, that's a good dispute. The attorneys will take this all day. They don't have to redispute these types of things when you do it like that. Another common error is a report that shows a balance after the creditor discharged the debt with a 1099-C. So this just means that your client received a 1099-C in the mail, which is a cancellation of debt. And when they receive this, they're never going to update that balance. 100% of the time, they're not going to update that balance to 0 on the credit report. These are laydown violations if you have somebody that's received a 1099-C in the mail. You will do the dispute. They will not fix it. You send it over to the law firm that takes these mainly is McCarthy. They like these and they litigate these all the time. Duplicate accounts on the credit report. Again, super duper common violation. You cannot have an account on the credit report twice. I see these all the time, especially with collection agencies, especially Equifax for some reason tends to do it a lot, where they have double, duplicate accounts. Just say your software It finds these types of violations easily all day. Same thing, it's just very clear dispute. My credit report shows a debt owed to LVNV funding twice when I only have one account with LVNV funding. I'm requesting that you remove one of the duplicate accounts. If you have any questions about this, please contact myself or LVNV funding to verify. Okay. Debt buyer and original creditor both reporting a balance due. Another super common violation. I promise you guys, you all have these just sitting there. Sometimes these things are really hard to find, which is why software is nice that identifies these types of things. Because when you have a lot of clients and they have 80 different trade lines on that credit report, these are hard to spot. They're definitely difficult to see. So a debt buyer and original creditor both reporting a balance due. So that means that a furnisher like Capital One is reporting a balance as well as portfolio recovery on the same debt. That's an FCRA violation. And the attorneys are these again, all of these types of violations, if they're true violations, you dispute them correctly, you send them to the attorney, you're going to get paid 100% of the time. Unless there's something, an unknown account on your credit report, this is ID theft. Okay.
Everybody mute their mics.
Sorry, I don't have a co-host today to keep everybody muted, so it'll be good. If you guys aren't muted, definitely mute your mics. So for this one, you definitely need an FTC fraud affidavit. I'm going to give you guys a really good warning right now. Do not do fake FTC fraud affidavits. I'm going to tell you how I do these. I'm going to tell you why I do them in a certain way that I do them. I've been in this credit repair industry for over 20 years. I've never gotten in trouble. I don't do things that are shady in any way, shape, or form. And so there's a reason why I have never gotten in any kind of trouble in all the 20 years I've been in the industry. When you do FTC fraud affidavits, you do not do them. Do not do it from your IP address. I do Zooms with my clients. Make sure, verify with your client that it's truly identity theft, number one. Secondly, you do a Zoom call with your client and you have them log into the site from their computer and share their screen. You can use their controls. You can take the controls at that point. That's what I do to fill it all out because it's stuff you're going to need to go get dates and information, different things from the credit report as you're filling out the fraud affidavit. At the end, when it comes time for them to sign it, say they verify, click that little box, I verify everything I'm saying is true. It's a federal offense to be lying, that kind of thing. You give the controls back to your clients and let you go through it carefully with them and let them know this is a federal offense to be lying about any of this, and let them click the box and let them submit the affidavit. Have them save the affidavit and send you a copy. This is not coming from your IP address, it's coming from theirs. So a better chance that things are going to get fixed as well. And down the road, you're not going to have any type of issues. So if somebody ever made a complaint about you or they started investigating you for any reason, you want to be protecting yourself because they're going to be looking, because trust me, they can go in and find out if companies have went in and done a whole bunch of fraud affidavits for somebody. So you just want to keep your side of the street clean. Student loan violation, the CARES Act violation. I'm seeing a ton of these right now. So this is meaning that there are late payments that happened during the COVID deferment period. So any late payments that happened during the COVID deferment period. And one thing that I got actually from Ashley Deal. I heard her say this and it was really smart. A lot of companies or a lot of states have natural disasters things. California had fires, they have tornadoes, and they're in natural disaster zones. So that also applies to natural disaster zones for late payments that are on your client. So if you have a client that has student loans with late payments that are in that kind of zone, you can actually get those lates removed from that as well. And I do have an FCRA consumer attorney. I'm pretty sure he would take that would be a violation if it wasn't removed. So there's a lot. You can do a lot just in student loans. You could specialize in just student loans alone and do really well in the credit repair industry. But that's one of the ones that I see a lot. So you just want to be looking for them between March of 2020 and I believe it's September of 2024. So account too old to report. This is, we all know, right? It's negative accounts have to be removed after 7 years. Of course, these pop up all the time. And these are an easy case to send over to the attorney. Mixed files. This one is just so attorneys love these files. Mixed files are the cream of the crop for the attorneys. I kid you not. They love them. It happens a lot when you have seniors, first, seconds, and thirds, same names, really easily twins. I've seen a lot. I've had twins before that had mixed files. Very easy to mix. One of the things you're looking out for on a mixed file is when you have a birth date that is very far apart. Say you have a birth date, two birth dates are showing their actual birth date, and one bureau is showing a birth date 20 years earlier. That gives a very good indication of a mixed file. So you want to always be looking at another indication of mixed files or identity theft that you can be looking for as well is when addresses of one random address that you have I have no idea where that came from or what that is. And then you also have as well an identity theft. You also have an address that just sticks out like a sore thumb. Say they live in Massachusetts and there's one address in California showing on just one bureau, and that's where they've seen that account. So there's clues always in the credit reports that you can find to let you know if you have identity theft and mixed files, they can be hard to tell apart, and merged files. Authorized users. This one is hit or miss. McCarthy says they take these. Our software does find them. They will take some, they don't take all. It depends on how they were added, but the gist of this one is that an authorized user account can actually only show the authorized user's history, not everyone's history. So it shouldn't show the primary and everybody's, which they do. So if you have a charge off, obviously leave the authorized users alone if they're good and helping. Don't touch them, don't dispute them. Leave them alone. But if you have like charged off accounts where you can't just have them removed, normally on an authorized user, if they have a bad account, it's got lates or something like that, you just have them taken off of it. That'll just solve that problem right there. You don't have to do anything else. But when it's a charge off, it can sometimes be a little more challenging. You can't really get them removed off of it anymore. It's not the same because it's already charged off. So sometimes you're going to want to look at these. Definitely send the dispute in, try to get it removed. We can almost always get it removed, but if you don't, sometimes you can actually get a violation for this one. Again, this one is more hit or miss. They do take these, but they don't take all of them. Debt discharge and a bankruptcy, reporting a balance due. This is a great one. People that have discharged bankruptcies have high amounts of FCRA violations. So if you specialize in helping people rebuild after bankruptcy, that is a great niche, right? Because you're going to have a higher percentage of violations in this area. So always be looking on these, and I'll just give some credit repair tips on this. Anytime you have a bankruptcy, the bankruptcy itself isn't really hurting them. You got to be looking to see if they have balances that are still reporting or things not included in the bankruptcy. Another thing that can happen when you remove bankruptcies prior to, say you didn't remove all of the accounts included in the bankruptcy, but you turn around and just like immediately removed a bankruptcy for somebody. And I just saw this with my own eyes on a report. They actually put all the amounts back on. So the bureaus now no longer are suppressing the balances on the accounts that were included in bankruptcy because the bankruptcy is gone. So if the bankruptcy is gone, now all these balances come back on these charge-offs and collections, and a lot of times will actually drop your client's credit score, which is not a good thing. We don't want to do that. So look for the violations first because you can almost always get a violation before. And if you're going to remove the items, you want to try to get rid of all the items included with bankruptcy. Do that first, then try to remove the bankruptcy if that's what you want to do, so that you don't end up triggering that happening to the client. If somebody rebuilds after bankruptcy, they can literally get 2 secured cards, a credit builder loan, and have a 700 credit score again easily within 12 months. No problem. With the bankruptcy there, with everything that's reporting on the bankruptcy. What really hurts them is what comes on after. So say they have a collection account for $200 that pops on after their bankruptcy, that's a huge hit. You're probably going to see 100 to 150 point drop for that. So that's what you want to be looking for. Anything that came on afterwards, if they have a really low score, making sure they had enough open credit, that they are responsibly using it to build the points back up. I've had people come back in on bankruptcies and they have like 400 some credit score still or low 500s. And all I do is have them go get 2 secured cards, a credit builder. They go up 100 points within the first 30 or 40 days. And then we just make sure anything's cleaned up. There's nothing derogatory coming on after the bankruptcy, and the score will go right up. People want higher credit scores. They're not really interested that much in deletions. For me, I never talk about deletions with my clients. Sometimes I get no deletions. Sometimes I get a bunch of them. Sometimes I just have them do the work or add accounts. Their score always improves. Okay. All of my clients get an improvement of anywhere from 50 to 200 points, no matter what, or I'm going to refund their money. And it doesn't mean I have to delete things in order to do that.
Please.
Reinsertion. This is actually something you have to pay good attention to when you're doing disputes and you want to train VAs and different things like that on this type of thing. I'll show you what a reinsertion looks like. So this was an actual account. So this is the December report in 2024 of my actual client where you can see balances owed. This was paid off and NCB said we're deleting it. And they deleted all of this on TransUnion Experian. Everything was gone. And in January, the report was completely clean. In February, we had this. And NCB submitted all their stuff, their little form they had to give to get it deleted. So Experian just randomly put this back on the credit report in February with a balance. Even though it was paid, the furnisher had communicated it properly, complete error. So this was definitely a violation. My clients got paid for it. They each had one. It was kind of crazy. They both did. There was 2 and Experian did it with both. One for him, one for her. So they each got a nice check. Your clients, are going to get $1,000 to $2,500 check for these violations, as well as you're going to get paid. All right, so let's just open it up for questions. You don't even have, so we have 15 minutes for questions. So I will just stop my share here and open it up. And I'll just check feel free to just unmute yourself and ask a question if you have one. Aaron said it's a felony to submit a false affidavit to a federal agency. Absolutely it is. Brenda asked, do we need to dispute the CARES Act violations or just send them over to the attorney? You need to dispute them for the CARES Act. Those need a dispute. So I think what Brenda's referring to, so one of our attorneys, it's really cool. So you guys can actually get instant violations, and that's a good reminder that this came up so that I can explain this to you. And I'm going to give you guys all his email address as well at the same time. So one of our attorneys, Hasib, he does bankruptcy, really specializes in bankruptcy. So you can actually just, if your client has a discharge chapter 7 or a discharge chapter 13, you can just email him your credit report right now. If you have one, you can just literally, I'm going to give you the email right now. You can just email him the credit report and he will within an hour tell you if you have a case. And you don't have to dispute anything. You don't have to do anything. He will just let you know if you have a case. You can let your client know he's going to be contacting them. He'll sign your client. So I actually have had him do this on 2 of my cases now. And one of our users too, this happened to her too. So we just sent the file over, said, hey, you want to take this case? He looked at it in 10 minutes, no joke. He's so fast. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll take this case. He had looked at the file, had my client sign the agreement with him, and filed my case all in the same day. That's crazy. There's no consumer attorneys out there that do that. I've had this happen a couple times, and it's other people too. He's just that fast. So I'm going to give you his information right now. In fact, let me just I'm gonna copy and paste all of it. So you can just send him a actual credit report and just say, hey, can you review this and see if I have a violation? And there you go. You might have one where you can get paid on it right now. And he'll pay you the very next month. He will accept the case and pay you on it right away. Let me go grab his info and get it in a chat for you.
Wait, he pay you on it right away because he could get more from it?
No, he actually gets less on them. He just pays, all consumer law attorneys will pay within the month, right? When they accept the case. So once they accept your case and say, I'm going to take that case, and then they have your client signs the retainer. As soon as your client signs the retainer and they become your client, the next month you're going to get paid. Some attorneys are just slower than others. They don't get that done in a day or two. Sometimes it takes them weeks. But for the most part, you're going to get paid the following month.
Hey, Steph, you want me to put his information in here, Saeed?
Yep, got it. Sorry, I got it.
Oh, cool.
So just let him know that I told you to just send it on over and you can get yourself a case. So Rob and I partner, Rob the credit guy. You guys probably know Rob the credit guy. So for FCRA violations, if you guys have 100 or more active clients, I'm going to tell you right now, you have a boatload of violations just sitting in there. You got a bunch of money sitting there. If you have under 100 active clients, go do a call with Rob because that's what Rob does. That's what Rob specializes in. Rob is going to get you to 100 or more active clients so that you can really you can get paid for these violations, right? You can not only get your credit repair, you should be getting paid on secured cards, you guys. You can, Rob, put your info in there because they're asking for your info. Just go on a discovery call with Rob. They're free, right, Rob? Your discovery calls are totally free.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you can go to robthecreditguy.com. That's my website. You could book a call. And I also have a free community. You don't have to pay for it. And these calls that Stephanie is doing as well, I'm going to grab the recording. So if you guys missed the first half, because I forgot who it was, but somebody said they missed the first half. So I know Stephanie has the recordings. I'll have the recording in my school community. But if you're already familiar with school, all you got to do is go to, and it's spelled a little funny, so I'm going to put it inside of the chat, but it's skool.com/Rob the Credit Guy. Again, you don't have to pay for it. I also do free classes every Tuesday. We talk about sales, marketing, how to generate more leads, and all of those calls are free. So you could go back and watch those as well. So I'm excited to help anybody that has questions or needs help growing their credit repair business.
For sure. We give out so much free game, you guys. Like, it is free game. A lot of places charge you for this kind of information that we give you free. Rob does the same thing. His Tuesday class this week was fire. I don't know who was in it, but if anybody was in that class, say because it was really good. I learned something from everybody. Never think you can't learn. I don't care how long you've been in the industry, you can always learn from someone else. So we have another question here. What's the best way to get someone that has a 500 credit score to 700 in 30 to 90 days? So that's just different for everybody. There's no real answer to that question because you have to look at that credit report and you have to create an action plan for each client. Is it possible to get somebody from 500 to 700 in 30 to 90 days? 100%, absolutely. But it is a combo effort, right? It's never going to be just you. Unless you're doing false affidavits, that's not happening. You're not just going to go get everything removed. It's just not like the old days. That used to happen, you guys. I'll tell you, back in the 2000s, we could just go dispute everything and everything would come off. It was crazy. It was fun. It was
Hey,
really
Steph, can I
fun
add
being a credit
something
repair.
to that question real quick?
Yeah.
So one of the things I really enjoy and love about Credit Butterfly, the action plan is, I feel like, again, I agree. Credit repair is not a one size fits all, 100%. But what the action plan does is it tells you what the client is lacking. So if they have a lack of revolving credit or installment accounts, just by adding that, and it tells you specifically what to add. Though you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to be an expert. So if you're brand new to disputing, if you're brand new to credit repair, this is going to literally help you be a lot less stressed on trying to figure everything out. If you just follow the action plan that Credit Butterfly creates for you, you're going to go far. So I think that is an amazing tool.
Thanks, Rob. So, and the thing about that, I'll just pile onto that a little bit. We also optimize it so that it optimizes the last 24 months. So it's going to show you the collections and charge-offs with balances from the last 24 months as well. Because that's when somebody's going to get a mortgage loan, and if you're specializing for people getting mortgage and things like that, you really need to focus on that last 24 months because that's what DU and LP is looking at. When they're running those things, they want to see those clean months, right? You want to have that as clean as possible. No late payments, no open collections in the last 24 months, no open charge-offs, things like that. And there's a lot more to it too. And I'm going to do that class that's a whole class in itself on how to create action plans the best way. But yes, you can definitely get anybody from a 500 to a 700 in 30 to 90 days. Maybe not a 700. It depends on how many lates they have and how recent they are. But you could get close for just about anybody. Shamrika, I guess you were probably talking about Saeed and you sent a case over and you got a case out of it. I'm sure that's what you were talking about. So everybody grab Hasib's email. I hope 100% of you guys grab that email because he is a blessing to our industry. He is fast and he knows his stuff. And
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Shamrika. I
Hey.
did send over that case to Hasib. He went very fast. I'm constantly busy. And if you don't respond to him, he's going to call you. He's going to email you. And I was like, dang, who is this keep calling me? But it was him. He definitely got in touch with my client. She had a lot of violations on hers because she went through bankruptcy and none of those. It was the one you and I had looked at, and she had a lot of them on there. And so, from my understanding, they are moving forward, and he is great to deal with. He's super. So, I'm excited to have him a part of the team.
oh, that's awesome. Isn't it? He's just so fast. There's just nothing like it. I've never seen an attorney. And I'm going to clue you guys into something here too. No one shares their attorneys. I do not gatekeep. So if people found attorneys like this, they are gatekeeping, you cannot believe, which is crazy to me. They're like, oh, I'm not giving you my attorney. He's just growing, right? He's just adding more attorneys to his practice. We want him to do well, right? Everybody should be doing well. We want that. So no gatekeeping, you guys. I'm going to share any attorney that we have. I know that he's totally separate from McCarthy, Brenda. He's like McCarthy. I like McCarthy, been using McCarthy for 15 years. They're great for some violations, but they're not as fast. Let's just be honest. They're just not as fast. And they're good. They definitely know their stuff. They know what they're doing. Good. No Edgar, no light versions. But you can definitely just pop all your people in. A lot of people do that. They just pop all their people in Credit Butterfly and find the violations and just dispute all the violations, take everything else out. And it's fine too. You can do that. It's cheap. It costs you 197 bucks to go make thousands of dollars. So no light version, but you can make it light. And anybody that wants to actually book a call, I don't want to just talk about Credit Butterfly on the call. I want to get to these questions too. I'm just going to put in my demo link in here. I just put it in right now. So if you have questions about Credit Butterfly, let's go, just book a demo with me and let's go over it then so we don't take up our time here. We only have a few minutes. But I'm happy.
Can you give out Saeed's email again?
Let me find it in here. Let me just,
Thanks.
oops.
Just scroll up inside the chat and you'll see
Yeah,
it.
it is inside the chat. Hey, Steph, can I ask
Oh,
a
okay.
question in regards to the investment for Credit Butterfly? Because you got a bunch of what's the cost kind of questions. One thing I love about Credit Butterfly is it's not free, so we got to be careful with how you can't say it's free, but you get the violations. It literally pays for itself. So technically, I'm not even paying anything for the Butterfly. For the credit, it pays for itself. If you're not getting credit violations, which is extremely rare, then there's different tiers, but it pays for itself, guys. This is the only software that I know of that makes you money. Every other software is great, but it's going to cost you something. this pays for itself.
That's the bottom line, you guys. Like, pretty much, you should be able to get a violation during your free trial, for crying out loud. We even supply you with like client success manager that will nag you to death and make sure you get it done. And I know there's some users on here that their client success manager has been nagging them. So I know.
What would you say, Steph, what would you say the percentage of credit reports or credit profiles, what is the percentage that it's going to have some kind of violation? What do you think that is? So
As you get better at locating them yourself, besides the one that's the system will find for you, you're going to get anywhere from 7 to 10% of all files will have a violation. And don't be seduced by these people that are acting like they're getting a violation on every single file, because they're honestly not. Real actionable violation, there are violations on every file for sure, but that doesn't mean an attorney is going to take them. So we want to be realistic. But you'll get 7 to 10 violations for every 100 files that you have for sure, which is money. And with the action plan and all the secured cards and everything else, it's a lot more money. So you got 100 clients, and most people need at least one. Some need 2, some need 3. It's a lot of money right there too. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. That's why we say there's just hidden money just sitting in your client files. It's literally just sitting there waiting for you to go grab it.
think about it. If you're charging $1,000, but I charge for credit repairs between $1,000 and $2,500. So on the low end, if you're charging $1,000 and you get a violation, you just made $1,400 off of that client. And so multiply that times 20 clients a month, 50 clients a month. It's free money, and you're not, again, there's so many benefits, but you're not adding any more workload. It's all about working smarter, not harder. The software is doing the work for you. So it really is free money.
You guys, the consumer law attorneys all pay you referral fees. There was a question here, and Nathan, so there's been glitches in Credit Butterfly. We're a new software. We have bugs. Not gonna say that we don't. We definitely have bugs. Most of our bugs have been fixed pretty well right now. The trackers are working great. Ask Rob. We just disputed a bunch in his today. It was working great. It's real easy to do. So there's a glitch here and there, but it's getting better for sure.
Listen, guys, me personally, I've been doing credit repair. I'm going on year 16, and I have worked with at least 10 different softwares that I could think of. A client dispute manager, Credit Butterfly, Dispute Fox, Credit Panda, CR. All of them have had glitches and some kind of issues at some point. But I feel like, honestly, including Butterfly, all of them are very good at getting it fixed right away. So you're never going to find a software that's going to be 100% just perfect. Just my opinion.
It's software. There's going to be issues, but we're making it better, and we fix it fast. So any more questions before we go? I want to get to all the questions. That's right, Nathan. The only way it gets better if you all hit the feedback button and report the bugs. That's exactly right. I love when you report the bugs. Katrina, did you have a question? No. Anybody else did I miss any questions, Rob? So definitely you're gonna get a referral fee from Hasib. Saeed. I call him Hasib. His name is Saeed. Poor guy, I just call him whatever I want. So he's an interesting guy too, by the way. He was on a reality show. Saeed.
What is it called? Married at First Sight, right?
No, not Married at First Sight. It was a blind. No, was it a blind date?
Blind. Hold on.
Love is Blind.
I am obsessed with that show.
No,
I don't watch TV, but I watch that show.
He's super interesting guy.
He's cool. I got to meet him when we went to Chicago. He's a super cool guy, down to earth. Also, just talking about Saeed real quick, shout out to him. I've never worked with a lawyer where their response time is extremely fast. When I email him and communicate with him, he's always just on it. And I love that because, again, I've worked with multiple lawyers over the years. And sometimes, man, it'll take 3, 4, 5 days before a lawyer responds. And they take care of our clients really quickly. So thank you, Steph, for connecting me with him as well. So
a lot of people are happy. They're probably not as happy I share with everyone. So I think Rob said he is going to put the replays on the school community. If you got the invite from this call, you're going to get the replay too. And you can always go onto our YouTube channel. It's the @ Credit Butterfly. And we have a YouTube channel with all of our replays as well.
The replay will be on there tomorrow. So we always give it a day. hit download and
It's
record
gonna
it.
take a day. We gotta
yeah.
edit it. My sister will probably edit all this stuff out.
And
Not to
there's
bore
also
you.
in my community, without exaggeration, there's over 30 hours of live trainings just like this that we give you for free. So you could be in there for weeks. So
Oh, so Nathan has a question. Any special speakers for next week? So who I'm going to try to get next week is actually the student loan consumer law attorney. I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can get him on for next week. Totally. That's an awesome. He was awesome. He knows everything about student loans. So there's always, when you dive into each piece of consumer law, you can always go deeper. You can always find more things that are actual violations than what the just basic ones are. So that's what we try to do here. We try to dive deep into each one, and then I'll see you come on and just talk about bankruptcy stuff again too, and dive deep in that subject. So we're 5 minutes past. I usually don't ever go past, but we're at least having a little bit of fun. So anyway, so we'll just call it a day. I appreciate everybody that shows up for these calls. I really hope that you get value here and that you learn something. That is the point of these calls. We're very interested in helping you grow your business and get better. And so if anybody has questions or needs anything, you can always reach out to me directly. I know you can reach out right directly to Rob. We will always help you with anything that you need. Thanks so much.
thanks, Steph.
All right. Talk to you guys later.